This episode of Set to the Score is sponsored by Sky Sports. Stream Sky Sports flexibly on Now. What you want, when you want, no fuss. Go to nowtv.com to start streaming Sky Sports today. Hello and welcome to Set to the Score. My name is Harry Dome. Let's look back on the massive Manchester derby between United and City, with United picking up all 3 points. Listen, I couldn't have predicted that with the current state of Manchester United and Michael Carrick coming in as well. But the new manager's bounce is a thing. It's always been a thing in the Premier League. Joining me this morning is Brian from the Simply Red podcast and Joe from City Ramble. Brian, I'm going to kick off with you. How about that for a new manager's bounce? I've not seen a Manchester United team like that for ages.
That was amazing, yeah. Wasn't expecting it at all. I walked into the ground completely down, completely lacking optimism, thinking, what's going to happen today? City could punish us here. This could be an embarrassing start for Carrick, but absolutely not. Michael Carrick's at the wheel, I guess.
Joe, your response to Michael Carrick at the wheel. Were you surprised as a Manchester City fan off the back of this derby?
I mean, I wouldn't really say too surprised because I think all the City fans that I know have got that idea about City-itis and typical City and never turn up in some of the big games. And also it is a derby, anything can happen in those kind of games. But I was surprised at the nervousness that we showed inside the first sort of 10, 20 minutes. We were really, making some sloppy passes and just couldn't seem to really get our foot on the ball. And instead of kind of fronting that up and maybe trying to get a shot on goal and put pressure on United, instead, we just internalized that and looked even more nervous, and it let United go to the game. They kind of realized, okay, City are here to be got at, and then they built upon that, scored the 2 goals, and we just really offered nothing to sort of in response to that.
Brian, do you think the atmosphere at Old Trafford on Saturday is what probably made these Manchester City players nervous? A lot of them have won everything in world football, and they've played at Anfield. They played at some of the most intimidating grounds in the world in Europe. But was it just a different feel at Old Trafford with Michael Carrick at the helm?
It was bouncing. It needed a bit of rejuvenation. I mean, things had become flat under Ruben Amorim. Carrick coming in, bit of a change of the guard. I guess I suppose a bit of renewed excitement and optimism of what can happen for the rest of the season. I know it's only an interim position, but the crowd was up for it. There was a little bit of a special feeling there on Saturday. I'm not quite sure what sparked it. Maybe it was Carrick coming in, or maybe just a bit of defiance against City coming into our place. And it was bouncing. It was absolutely electric. And just from the off, like Joe said, they looked a bit nervous. We seemed to have a bit of cockiness about us almost when we got a chance straight away. Harry Maguire hitting the post or the crossbar, so early. That kind of gave a flashpoint of maybe we can get something out of this game. Maybe we can go at these boys and see what happens. And we did with a pump.
Joe, Diego Dalot remaining on the pitch after the challenge on Jeremy Doku. What was your instant reaction when he went studs up?
Well, I actually thought originally, at first glance, because the challenge went so quick, I was thinking, that is a deserving yellow. But on second, look on when it slowed down, you're thinking, how the hell is VAR not intervened there and got him sent off? Because not only has he gone studs up on the knee, but then he scraped it down his shin as well. And I mean, what's the point in VAR anymore? Do you know what I mean? If we're not going to intervene for decisions like that, I understand for the objective stuff, the offsides, it's perfect for that. Maybe it takes a little long, but regardless, it gets them right the majority of the time. But for subjective decisions like that, there's a clear consistency that we're getting it wrong now. And I'm not trying to say that should that be given, the game is different, but it is a game-changing moment. Suddenly United have got to play 80 minutes with 10 men. And I'm even all the United fans that I've spoken to over the weekend who've given me grief have all kind of said, yeah, we got away one there. I think he should have been sent off. And I think, I just kind of, it annoys me now that City are kind of, not even just City, but all the teams now are getting some crazy VAR decisions. And it just makes me think, what is the point of even having it if consistently we're going to get it so wrong?
Brian, do you think he should have seen red?
Yeah, I think he's lucky. Doc was lucky he wasn't killed. He could have killed the lad. It was a horror challenge, yeah. When he grazed off him barely with his studs and Doku had to go off for a couple of hours of treatment. Nah, it was a little bit innocuous, but I don't think it's a straight red. Let's not be. We're not playing basketball here. Come on, let's not be silly.
Joe, your response?
I mean, I just think what else does he have to do to get sent off then? Does he have to keep his leg planted and then end up breaking his leg or doing a more serious injury? Does he have to have visible blood streaming out? What at that point constitutes a red card? Because we've seen yellow cards get given for shirt pulls, yet a yellow card is given for studs on the knee. That doesn't really equate to the same thing. Surely there should be a higher level of punishment for that.
Yeah, but it's only a glance. It's not like he went in to do him, and it's not like he made full on solid contact. I thought he'd been unlucky. It was just slightly missed time by poor Diogo.
Brian, the intensity and creativity from Man United, 2 goals and 3 disallowed. Are you worried that it could potentially be flash in the pan, and you're riding off the back of the new manager bounce?
Yeah, I suppose the biggest concern for us is exactly as you say, Harry, is this a flash in the pan? I mean, we've seen it before. We've had big games where we turn up after not turning up for previous lesser games, we call it, and then off the back of it, we go on and we don't back it up again. So that's the biggest challenge Carrick has now. Get these lads to unify, get them stick together, and get them to go out and put on a big performance and back it up straight away again. And if they can do that and go on a bit of a run, who knows? Maybe the season can turn around.
Joe, winless in your last 4. What do you put it down to? Because Arsenal quite far ahead. No, Arsenal drew 0-0 to Forest at the weekend, but all the games that you've drawn to what there was 3 in a row, and obviously the loss to Manchester United, all of them winnable. Are the players tired? Is it a lack of mentality? And I hate to say that of a team like Manchester City because they are absolute monsters. But from you inside the terraces, what are you seeing from this team? What are they not doing that's really frustrating you and not picking up those points?
I think there's quite a multitude of factors you can put it down to. Obviously, I'm not going to blame it entirely on the injuries that City have got, but that back four. If you told me that a year ago, I would have been very shocked that that's the back four that's going to Old Trafford. I think at the same time as well, a lot of the stuff is just self-inflicted. We're creating chances, i.e., the Chelsea game, the Brighton game. We got gifted two chances in the Brighton game where they mess up playing out from the back, and we can't put those away. And it's stuff like that where you think, I wouldn't say it's mentality and that they aren't there or thereabouts with title race, that kind of mentality. Because you know what, with a team like City, they would always kind of turn it on. But it just seems like no matter what we do, we're being a bit too sloppy with the ball at times, which is uncharacteristically City. And we just can't seem to put the chances away, which is mental to say with a player like Erling Haaland up top. But then at the same time, like you say, fatigue, I would put a lot of the stuff that I would criticise Erling Haaland for at the minute down to fatigue. I mean, the guys, I think I saw a stat the other day that said in the treble season, he made 50 odd starts and he had 4,100 minutes. Well, at the minute, he's played 3,800. So clearly, the games that he's playing is almost too much for him, and it's going to be close to his record in the City shirt. And I think we saw against United where yes, he didn't have too many chances. I will blame that to the rest of the team for not creating them, but he just isn't really doing the basics at the minute, keeping hold of the ball, being a good sort of generally hold up play striker, making those easy passes, the layoffs, and sort of just the little things like that. He's just not kind of hitting the ground at the minute, which is everything we were praising him for at the start of the season. And I think that sort of all of those things coming together means that City have had a pretty poor run of form, you would say, for what you would say are title contenders.
Brian, we praise Bruno Fernandes quite a lot. We know he's had his critics for some weird reasons, but I think that was textbook Bruno Fernandes at the weekend. Finding gaps, the space, and the creativity as well is absolutely sublime. I mean, completely dominated that midfield at Old Trafford. How refreshing was it to see Kobbie Mainoo get his first start of the season as well?
Yeah, it was amazing. On Bruno, I mean, I don't think it can be stated enough how important he is for us and how big a player he is in the league. I mean, the fact that he hasn't got the medals to back it up, kind of, I suppose it hurts his case a small bit or his argument, but he's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, his assists, his creativity, big chances he's creating, the way he bolsters that team and gets it together and links the rest of them around him. And again, Kobbie Mainoo coming in, I think we've seen Kobbie Mainoo. When he came on the scene for us with United, we saw what he could do. He went off with England to the Euros. Again, we saw what he could do. It's been a bit of a mess in between then and now, but we all know there's a player there. Just need to get it back out of him. Amad Diallo and Bouma coming back from AFCON, of course, was a massive boost as well. It gave us a bit of a chink in the armour for finding against City. So it was good. Yeah, it was a good look. It was a good performance all around. I don't think there was anybody on our side you could fault really. It was a good solid performance, and it was a joy to watch.
Joe, being a City fan, you look back on Saturday, obviously the gap between the two clubs at the moment in the sense of league table and sort of Premier League over the last 5 years or couple of years or so. Do you miss those intense battles? Obviously you never want Manchester United to come back and win the league, but the Manchester derby has been a bit obviously like tainted over the last couple of years with the form that Manchester United have shown and where the club is at. But I'm trying to get you to, get inside your mind and say, do you want to see more riding on these Manchester derbies in the future and have similar games to what we had on Saturday?
No, not at all. I think there's two ways you can go about that because as a fan, you're thinking Derby Day is one of the worst days. Admittedly, it's the ones you first bookmark on the calendar, but them 24 hours, you are so nervous. You want the bragging rights. You don't want to go into the office on Monday morning knowing that you're going to be confronted by Reds who are going to absolutely, give you so much stick. But at the same time as well, I don't want them to be successful because, as a City fan, you want to see them do as bad as possible, and seeing them finish 15th last year and have a 40-game season this year. I spoke to some City fans who are a lot older than me and say, I remember when our cup final was playing United and making sure that we beat them, and it's flipped now. City got bigger fish to fry, you would say, but. Yes, okay, fair enough. I could agree that the derby's kind of been tainted. There's been a couple of 0-0s, and it's a bit more of a friendly occasion, you would say. But no, in no way do I want the games to necessarily have more importance riding on them. A, because that means United have become successful, and B, because that means my nerves for a derby day, even on a day where City is expected to win, like we were on Saturday, are going to be even higher when the stakes are a little bit higher themselves.
Brian, if Michael Carrick has a really, really good run, do you see him becoming the permanent manager of Manchester United in the summer? Do you think that's just going to be the easy option from the club? And how would the fans feel about that, do you reckon?
It's the catch-22 of an interim manager, isn't it? It's after putting the club in a position where Carrick comes on now, he gets, let's just say for argument's sake, he gets top 4. Team plays well, feelings are good, everyone's buzzing. How do you argue against giving him the job again in the summer when he comes to the table and says, look, this is what I've done, this is the proof of my work? Then is it the right thing to do? It's impossible. It's impossible to hypothetically think about it. I don't know what you do. I'm torn because if he does achieve that and he does get the team playing football like we want, how can you argue against it? So, yeah, I guess let's see what happens for the rest of the season. I'm sitting on the fence a little bit, Harry. I'm not going to put myself to the test here in this one.
Brian, Joe, thank you so much for this morning. Reminder, everyone, that Manchester United will be travelling to Arsenal at the weekend, facing off against the league leaders, and Manchester City will take on Wolves. We want a title race. This episode of Set to the Score is sponsored by Sky Sports. Stream Sky Sports flexibly on Now. What you want, when you want, no fuss. Go to nowtv.com to start streaming Sky Sports today.